Hello, everyone, and welcome to our Amadeus NDCX program webinar entitled Booking Offers via NDC. My name is Caroline McGinn. I'm part of the North America NDC Growth Team and your host today. I have the pleasure of working closely with our airline partners on one side as they work to develop and launch their innovative retailing capabilities through NDC, and with our travel seller community on the other side. And yes, many of you, as we work to ensure that the Amadeus travel platform is fit for purpose and meets your needs. Before I introduce the rest of our panel and special guest, let's go over a bit of housekeeping. Today's session is being recorded, and for sound quality purposes, everyone is muted. We know you have questions, so please submit these via the Q&A. With the help of our two moderators, Adriana and Christine, we'll look to answering them once we wrap up our presentation. We'll do our best to answer as many of your questions as possible, but it's likely we won't get to them all. We'll get back to you directly whenever possible, but otherwise we'll attempt to update our FAQ section in the Amadeus Service Hub, or ASH, with anything we're not able to cover with you on the call today. Today, we'd like to help ease and maybe even boost your confidence in the transition to Selling Platform Connect's graphical environment, also known as All Fares, where you'll find NDCX-enabled content. We do realize that everyone on our call is at a different stage in their NDC journey. This is perfectly okay and honestly expected, considering that up until this month, when it came to NDC, it may have been difficult to know or understand what's in it for you. As we consider the incredible audience we have on the call here today, I believe we realize now how the answer to this question has changed overnight. So thank you for joining us for our first NORAM NDC webinar of 2023. On our panel, I'm excited to have my colleague, Jay Richmond, Senior Director, Solution Consulting for Global Business Agencies and Americas. And he'll soon start us off with an introduction and overview of Amadeus's airline distribution strategy and vision for the future. We've been working closely for the past few years, educating our travel seller partners on NDC and sharing our journey and how we got here. And actually, we felt that this was probably where we wanted to start our presentation today. But before we get into our journey, we also have a very special guest, Rachel Pang, Manager of Airline Retailing Strategy at American Airlines. We're particularly excited to welcome you, Rachel, as AA's been a longtime partner on this NDC journey, and we've been working closely for many years to develop, test, refine, and deliver the full end-to-end workflow to ensure AA's NDC-enabled content can be booked and serviced in an efficient and scalable way through the Amadeus travel platform. AA's made some pretty big changes to its content distribution strategy recently, and we know that everyone on the call is very interested in learning more about what this means for them. We're excited to have you here with us today. So if we take a quick look at our agenda, Jay will walk us through Amadeus's vision and strategy, where we are with NDC, and how we're making NDC work for all. We'll then hear from Rachel on AA's NDC strategy. We'll walk through a couple videos of how to book and service NDC in Selling Platform Connect, and we'll wrap up by visiting all the support resources you'll find in ASH and everything else made available to you before we move on to our Q&A session. So let's go ahead and get started. Jay, over to you.
Thank you, Carolyn. I really appreciate it. And hello, everybody. Let's start by first taking maybe a step up and think about the transformation that's happening in our industry. This is more than just NDC. Our entire industry is moving towards modern retailing. If you think about the retailing experience online, the digital retailing experience, where you see products, you put them in shopping cart and you check out. That is really the undercurrent that is happening in the industry. Moving from an environment where you are picking segments and generating pricing and storing everything in a P&R to a world where suppliers have offers and then travel agencies and their travelers place orders for one or more of those offers. It's an exciting time. It's going to open up a lot more opportunities for what is offered and sold in the travel ecosystem. It'll give more opportunities for dynamic content, dynamic pricing, and unlimited combination of travel elements around a trip. And as Amadeus, we have been looking at the underlying transformation in the industry for quite some time. More than 10 years ago, we began evolving to make sure we would continue to enable both suppliers and agencies and travelers in this travel ecosystem. And when we think about where we wanted to be, we knew early on we had to jettison the old technology that you sometimes see referred to as TPF. It was over 5 years ago that the last TPF systems were eliminated from Amadeus. We began to move to open systems, and we've begun our journey to the cloud, all knowing that we had to continue to enable the evolving marketplace. So when we think about how we approach our solutions and our relationships with suppliers and with consumers, we knew that we wanted to move from being customer-centric to traveler-centric. We wanted to think less about individual products and services and think more about the ecosystem that would nurture new ideas and better relationships between the participants in the travel value chain. We wanted to not be traditional as a GDS or a player in this ecosystem, but to be an innovator and to work with our partners to drive innovation together. We wanted to think less from an inside-out perspective and move towards thinking more outside in. And then lastly, to be less pragmatic in our approach to prioritization and evolution of our own offering and be more inspirational in the products and the services that we work with our partners to deliver and make available to suppliers and consumers. So when we think about that context behind, we think next about NDC, because for this evolution to modern retailing, NDC is a first step and a necessary step to get to that new travel environment. At Amadeus, we made some decisions some time ago that put us in a unique position to be able to bring NDC into the Amadeus environment. In Amadeus, we took content out of our core system and looked at content as just a source. So whether we're talking about legacy content like Edifact, content from low-cost carriers, or this new content via NDC, these are all just content and servicing capabilities that are pulled into our travel platform. In our travel platform, we aggregate this content and orchestrate access to that content based on what our consumers are looking to do strategically or on a search-by-search basis. Because of this, this means that there's a single point in Amadeus to build and apply business rules, to shop, to compare, and to service all this content regardless of where it comes from. And unlike others that have built new content like NDC on an Edifact platform, we have removed any ties to Edifact in our travel platform. And as I said, it's just another content source that's coming in and made available to our customers. And for our travel platform, there is a single way to interact with it. For our own products like the Amadeus Agent Desktop, Amadeus Selling Platform Connect, or our booking tool, Amadeus Citric, we use the same travel API to access content and functionality that we make available to third parties and to our customers. So all of us have the same access to content and functionality in that travel platform. Now let's talk about making NDC work. I want to start with where we are on our roadmap of NDC content. This is our global roadmap. Today, globally, we have 20 airlines available through Amadeus NDCX, and you'll see we have some others coming through the rest of this year. By the end of this year, we will have over 30 airlines launched in Amadeus NDCX globally. And I say globally because remember with NDC, the airlines decide which points of sale they want to launch in and when they want to launch. So if we then look at what's happening in North America, we currently have 8 airlines available. And for Avianca, that's all their brands. We have 2 in early access, and you'll see some other large airlines coming here in the first half of 2023. By the end of 2023, we will have at least 20 airlines launched in Amadeus NDCX from North American point of sale. All the names you expect to see are there. Of course, as Delta moves to execute an NDC strategy, we are working very closely with them. They're not doing anything yet, nor is Southwest, but United and of course, American Airlines here with us today are launched and live on Amadeus NDCX. The last thing I want to talk about is our approach to launching airlines in Amadeus NDC. We felt it was important to address the entire trip lifecycle as we launch any airline. We didn't think it was adequate to just launch for content's sake. So when I showed you earlier the roadmap, that's about content, right? Here are the airlines we're launching. But for all of these, we have different elements of the trip lifecycle covered in our readiness. So for booking, NDC content is fully integrated, whether you're on our desktop or through our API with the other content. So a single point to search, to compare, to shop, and to book NDC alongside EdiFactor low-cost carrier content. We really focused on backwards compatibility. So the flight segment for an NDC booking in Amadeus has the same structure and is in the same location for the PNR and the Amadeus interface record as an EdiFact segment. So quality control systems that are looking at that flight segment data, they will continue to function appropriately even with an NDC booking in Amadeus because it looks like an EdiFact booking. We've focused on delivering servicing capabilities for NDC content in Amadeus. So voluntary exchanges, involuntary exchanges, support for ancillary services, upsell, and the downstream reporting applications that are looking for that data. We still have some use cases that we need to deliver as Amadeus. Those are highly prioritized in our roadmap. In each quarter this year, we're delivering additional use cases to solve the needs of our customers. But of course, your readiness is a combination of several things. It's about the functionality the airline has released. It's about Amadeus's support for that functionality, but you also have other third-party providers and your own internal workflows and business logic that need to be NDC ready. So each of you as an agency needs to make sure that you understand what NDC readiness means for you and the dependencies that you have. As Amadeus, I commit to you that we are working as fast as we can on the highest priority use cases in the entire trip lifecycle for every airline that we launch in Amadeus NDC. Let me now turn it over to Rachel, who's going to talk about NDC strategy for American Airlines.
Great, thank you, Jay. Hello, everyone. Yeah, so I'll talk a little bit about American's modern retailing strategy, as well as what are some of the benefits that we see, as well as what are some of the products and services that's actually available today in our NDC channel, as well as what's kind of coming next. So American, let me make sure. Yeah, so American Airlines, along with many other carriers, have been supporting the industry when it comes to modern retailing. So we started this journey with NDC for more than 15 years ago, and really kind of thinking through how do we being able to help the indirect channel customers to bring a more modernized retailing and shopping experience to our indirect channel customers. And so we're excited that, obviously our NDC content has now been live with Amadeus since December of 2021. And it has been a really great partnership working with Amadeus. And so as we kind of really think about what is our vision when it comes to modern retailing, I mentioned a little bit about, Our goal is really thinking through how do we modernize the customer shopping experience for our indirect channel customers. The shopping experience today, right, or today in the artifact world, it's very fragmented. Many of our customers and travel buyers, when they shop via our indirect channels, they will book a fare, and then they have to kind of go to a.com, they will have to get on a plane, go to the airport to purchase all the different ancillary products that's actually available today here at American. However, the shopping experience is quite fragmented. However, with modern retailing, really the value and benefit is really allowing our indirect channel customers to be able to shop with more rich merchandising and have more access to products on the shelves. So such as like bundle products, ancillaries that's actually available today for American Airlines. However, do need the NDC technology to support from a fulfillment standpoint. And really with NDC technology, bringing the modern retailing experience to our end customer will allow us to continue to innovate and to be able to bring, additional products that actually require the NDC technology to support. And also, shopping through modern retailing will allow us to know who the customer is and whether or not they have status with us, and for allowing us to return more relevant offers to them. And so with American, we currently have, a suite of products and services that's actually available for customer shopping in our modern retailing platform. And on this slide, you can kind of see there are some of our ancillary products to the left, as well as some of our bundle products that's actually available to the right. So for paid seats, that's definitely one that, it's going to be a huge benefit as you shop through NDC. You will have access to our paid seat map and allow for customers with loyalty status to be able to access their free seats, or allow any customers to purchase the seats that they would like as they were shopping through, going through that booking experiences. We also have, same-day flight change available or pre-ordered meals. And we also have carbon offsets that's actually available within our ancillary products that's available via our NDC API. And some other products called Main Plus, our bundle offers. So for example, Main Plus, Corporate Experience, Flagship Business Plus, and Main Select. These are some of the bundle offerings that we have made available in our NDC channels, as well as our a.com. And so what these really are is actually a bundle offering, allowing a customer to, in addition to the fare that they're purchasing, they have the ability to upsell into the offer to have additional ancillaries attached. So Main Plus is one that we launched in February of 2021, where allow our customers to purchase, in addition to the regular main cabin fare, they can actually have access to our main cabin extra seats, our preferred seats, an additional free checkback, as well as a group 5 preferred boarding. And Corporate Experience is a bundle that we actually is available today to all of our corporate customers. If our corporate customers, corporate actually have a large, negotiated program with American Airlines, they actually have a free preferred seat as well as priority privileges that is actually given to them for free, free of charge. However, the booking process today outside of NDC is rather cumbersome. They will make a booking within their agency and their corporate booking tool. Then they'll have to come to a.com if they actually know that they have this benefits that's actually available to them to then go select that preferred seats. However, in this NDC world, when the corporate traveler is kind of booking through their corporate travel on American Airlines via NDC, they were able to select their free preferred seats at time of shop. And so additional other bundles that's available that I'd like to point out is Main Select. Main Select is one of the fully refundable bundle that's actually available that we created this really with the corporate traveler in mind, which gives them full access to completely fully refundable fare, give them an extra ability to select a main cabin extra seat or preferred seats. They will have their priority privilege from boarding, check-in, as well as a confirmed same-day flight change. We know that corporate customers do want the flexibility when they shop for their corporate travel. And so this bundle was created for them really with the corporate travelers in mind and allowing them this full flexibility that is available to them via our NDC channels today. And instant upsell is another ancillary offering that we have actually launched into the market earlier this year. And this actually allows our indirect channel customers to ability to buy into a higher cabin. And this is actually being purchased as an ancillary, not a combined fare. And so this is actually available on aa.com today. And coming later this year, we will make this offer available via our NDC modern retailing platform. And so with shopping through modern retailing, we do have the ability to know who that customer is when they shop and know their loyalty status. And so I mentioned about Main Plus, Main Select, a couple of the bundle offerings earlier. And so with shopping through modern retailing, we actually can recognize who this end customer is. And if we see that their loyalty status already includes some of these benefits that they're already entitled for, we will actually not serve up these offers because there's no reason for them to really need to pay extra to purchase these ancillaries and services. And so shopping through modern retailing do allow us to recognize who the customer is and allow them to, if there's money that they don't need to spend, definitely could help them drive some savings. And at American, we have actually invested a lot of money in terms of building out these servicing capabilities within our NDC API. And so here's a list of what are the common servicing use cases that we actually support in our NDC API today. So you see, these are really some of the major ones, ability to cancel, to void, to refund your PNR. We have the ability to support the involuntary and voluntary exchanges, allow for even exchanges, or ability to apply and retain credits as well as reuse credits. Ability to apply for schedule change waiver and apply for waiver code. This is actually a very new development that we've actually just delivered this functionality within our NDC API just about a week ago. And other services capabilities that we do support are PNR queues, divide and order, as well as add paid seats. Now, obviously, with servicing, we are continuing to looking to develop and add new features. That's actually, as we continue to get feedback from, from the travel ecosystem, we continue to focus on delivering and enhancing our servicing features. Some of the asterisks that you see on the slide are the ones that, with Amadeus that you heard Jay mentioned earlier. The features available would be depending on American's delivery. And so we do know that they have some of these items currently in the roadmap to be able to deliver to you via the Amadeus NDC platform. And so lastly, as you all have most likely heard, last December, we kind of shared what are the content offerings that would start differentiating in our channels starting April. And so really there are 3 categories of offers that's available in the market today. and one is the standard offering. So these are kind of your main cabin, your everyday main and premium cabin fares. That's actually going to be available across all of our channels, including the EDFX legacy technology channels, as well as our modern retailing platform. Really, the new content offer that's actually now available within our modern retailing platform is the value category. So think of them as the lower fares, they inclusive of basic economy as well as other fare types that we have categorized them into our value content. These are the type of fares that is only available in our modern retailing platform today, as well as a.com. So today you're not really seeing any of those value fares being different in our modern retailing platform via NDC versus a.com. These are value content that's already been live in the market as of earlier this month. How you can identify them is really the fare basis code. There's the 8th character in the fare basis code. If it's an alphabet, you will be able to recognize them as value content. If they are numerical, in the 8th character of the fare basis code, they will be the standard fares. And then really the third category that I want to point out here is the enhanced offerings. So earlier I walked you guys through some of the ancillaries as well as some of our bundle offerings that's only made available in NDC. You will have access to them in our third-party modern retailing channel when you shop via NDC. And so we have launched these contents in our domestic fare content 2 weeks ago, and more will come as we look into other regions for expansion for this content offering. So with that, I'm going to pass mic back to Jay. Thank you.
Thank you, Rachel. Great information. Now let's take a look at a video capture that we did showing the booking flow on Amadeus Selling Platform Connect. Now for NDC, the only way to shop, well, to book it and to service it is through the graphical user interface. NDC itself is not available in the command page in cryptic mode. EDFX content, of course, will still function the same in command page in cryptic mode. However, in this graphical user interface, you have the option to see all the EDFX content plus also all the NDC content. And I'll show you what it looks like and how a booking works in this environment. So it's the same that you would expect in any kind of graphical search screen. You choose your origin destination and you choose your dates. You notice we have the passenger type selected and we can choose some other search parameters. You can search public, negotiated, or if you have a corporate rate code with the airline, you can enter that here. Of course, you've got other fare options, fare restrictions that you can select as part of your search criteria. And then on the next panel over, you'll notice that you can seek to search all content, exclude NDC, or only search NDC. So you can do that as part of your search criteria. Now, when the results come back, you'll notice that you've got some that have that purple tag that says NDC and some that don't. If they don't, that's EDFX content. In this search, the NDC tag indicates it's NDC offer. You'll see the fare, you see the ticketing time limit, and you'll also see notice here that this offer expires in 30 minutes. This is for the offer while you're shopping and comparing. You can expand this basic economy offer and see the services that are included. And of course, you can see the equipment, you see the cabin class, booking class that associated with this offer. But you also see other fares for this itinerary. And so you'll see different fare families, their cost, and their ticketing time limits. And if the agent is interested in expanding, they just click, in this case, Premium Economy. The panel will expand. And once again, you can see the services that are included. You can see the total fare and taxes. If there's a reason that you want to see the fare conditions, if you click that, we pull that from the airline, from American in this case, and you'll see the fare conditions. From here, you can select the flight with this fare. So even though what was returned was basic economy, we're selecting the premium economy. This is still an offer that expires in 30 minutes because we have not yet booked it. You'll see the payment time limit. That's the ticketing time limit. Each segment has that NDC tag, so the agent is aware this is an NDC offer. Just going to update this passenger information here. The information is pulled from the profile as you might expect. Scroll down and we'll see the fare breakdown, the fare and the taxes and the total. And then if you click book, this is now a new PNR. It is no longer an offer, it's now an order. So that offer time limit of 30 minutes is no longer relevant. This is now an order, and the only thing that matters is the ticketing time limit or payment time limit. You'll still see record locators, but you also see an order ID. That's the unique identifier for this order in American Airlines IT system. So in this case, I'm going to update the ticketing arrangement. You'll notice now that here, this is referred to as the American payment time limit. Again, this is analogous to the ticketing time limit for EDIFACT. It's a payment time limit in NDC, because in NDC, as an agency, you ask to issue and pay, and the airline's doing the ticketing. Both of these are HK segments in Amadeus. In Amadeus, these are not passives. They're not ghost segments. These are confirmed HK segments. So the agent here can click issue and pay. They get a page to review. And again, the top left, you have the purple NDC tag. You see Class W, Class P, both premium economy. And again, the fare breakdown. You then select form of payment, and this is our test system. So we're going to choose cash, and then click issue and pay. Sends a command to American saying, here's the payment information, please issue this ticket. And when it comes back, you now have your confirmation. You'll notice at the bottom here, we have the notice that NDC content was paid and issued. And then here is your ticket number right here. Okay. Now let's look at what it looks like for an exchange and a cancellation. So in this case, we're going to exchange an NDC round trip. We're going to exchange the return trip. One important thing to know is that you cannot exchange an NDC flight with an EDIFACT flight and vice versa. So if the original trip is NDC, you have to exchange it for NDC. So as this plays, you're going to notice that all the results that come back, they're all NDC results because it's an NDC original. So we've got our trip. We're going to exchange the return here. We're going to change the date. And in this case, we're going to choose a specific cabin class and search for new flights. As I said previously, all these exchange results are going to have that purple NDC tag. And you can scroll through and see on the top left of each, you'll see the total to pay. Again, these are offers because you haven't booked it yet, so they can expire. You can expand and see the services, in this case for Business Flex. And if you select this flight, you'll now see the summary page where you see your new itinerary details. Again, you have the NDC tags to the right of each segment. Just a reminder, these are NDC. You've now got your fare information. So you have your original price, the new price, and to the left, you see the difference. You have your fare breakdown, total to pay. And again, you just choose form of payment and hit reissue. Sends the instruction to the airline. And it's been reissued. What if you want to cancel? For NDC, the system knows whether you're in the void window or not. In this case, we're outside the void window, so it's a refund. You see your total penalty, hit refund now, and then you'll get a confirmation back from the airline. Yep, your NDC order was canceled. And in that case, it was a refund. If you were inside the void window, wouldn't have been a refund, it would have just been a void. And again, the ticketing time limits the ticketing and payment time limits are set by each of the airlines. Caroline's going to talk about how you access that information. And in NDC, because the airlines own how they're constructing their offers, what they're sending back in response to search requests, some of the limits associated with ticketing or voiding are airline by airline basis. And Caroline's going to show you how you can access that information for each airline. So let me turn it back over to Caroline now, who'll go into those details.
Hi, Jay. And hello, everyone. So I'm just blown away by the amount and quality of the questions that you guys are sending through. We're going to get to those here in just a minute. But before we do that, I think probably something that you'll all find very helpful, given what you're asking, is a little bit more information about the support and training resources that we have made available for you. So this is a phenomenal summary slide of all the assets that are out there. Starting off with, thank you, with ASH, which is the Amadeus Service Hub, which is the entry point. And we'll take a look at that in just a second. But this is the hub for NDC. Most of the questions, if not many of the questions that are right now sitting out in the Q&A, you'll find an answer for those in ASH. There's also a learning path in Amadeus Learning Universe. We're going to take a look at that here in just a second as well. You have the chatbot functionality that exists within Selling Platform Connect. There's also a live travel community in which travel agents are able to help one another. And of course, our internal teams are also there answering your questions. There are a number of articles and there is instructor-led training. And I know I've seen questions, people want to know how to have more training. So let's go on to the very next slide. And let's take a little bit more of a deep dive into what's available in ASH. Okay, so let's start off by saying that if you have not yet bookmarked this page, we highly recommend that you do so as soon as you can, okay? I'm not going to have the time here to cover everything that's included. I do want to highlight a few important assets. The first being the available features and roadmap. This will help you know what is possible today, what we're working on, including when we hope to roll out new functionality. There's a lot of questions already, as you know, and I should start there maybe. You know, we're changing technology. EDIFACT is new. So there's a lot of things that are still being worked on. What we can't stress enough is how incredibly important it is for everyone to understand that NDC flows are different from EDIFACT. And this is really important. We need to make sure that we all align here. So again, NDC flows are different from EDIFACT. The backend technology, and we didn't spend a whole lot of time on that today in this webinar, but in essence, the XML technology that powers NDC is not the same technology that powers EDIFACT. I mean, that's why it's taken us this long already. As you know, many of us have been working on this technology for 10 years plus now. It's taking a long time to build. Again, everything, that entire backend piping is completely new, okay? And what that also means is that what is supported in EDIFACT may not be available or even exist in the NDC schema. Okay, you're going to find here as well a table of functionalities per airline. And again, each carrier over the course of the past 10 years, as they started their own NDC journey, they may have started to work at on a different version of the NDC schema. And it's important that you understand what that means, because that means that they each may have different servicing capabilities, different functionality that's available, different void windows. There's a little bit of differences that exist for each and every one of them. I will say, though, that in aggregate, as we partner and work so closely with all of our airlines, our shared vision is that together we are converging on a single version that everyone would be supported on. And what that means is that there's true harmonization across the board, and you'll see less of these little differences. Quick card. Now, it's really important that that in the event you would run into any issues, you'll need to log a case in ASH. With NDC, it's important that you tell us where you're having a challenge so as to understand whether it's a data, a system, or a training issue. So here's how you can help us. When you log a case in your title, please include NDC and then the 2-letter airline code of the content you're trying to book, and then mention for us the area or activity in which you're being impacted, where you're running into trouble, whether it's, for example, search or profile or ticketing, refund. I think you get the idea. There's an FAQ document here, which is very powerful. And then the NDC learning path. So here you'll notice that we have what's called bite-sized mini videos that'll show you how to do something easily and quickly in graphical mode. I can tell from the chat, the FAQ rather, that many of you are particularly comfortable with EDIFACT, right? I mean, you could probably do it in your sleep. This new environment of graphical is different. So again, these little bite-sized videos will show you how to quickly do little tasks and quickly bring you up to speed. And of course, we acknowledge that there's an element of change management, which is inherent as NDC means that everyone has to shift from where they're familiar with cryptic environment to the graphical UI to book this NDC content. So it's going to take a little bit of time, but we want to show you how easy it is with these flows. And if we move to the next slide, it's important to also know that there's a lot of documentation and learning. This is where you can also sign up for instructor-led courses if you'd like to take a class. Before we move to how to sign up for those classes, you'll also find here product release notes and how-tos. Again, this will allow you to take a closer look. You'll know what to expect when you're searching, for any kind of information. Again, all of the information that we could possibly provide you is within the ASH site. So moving on to the next slide, let's take a look at what you can do should you want to go ahead and sign up for enrolling in an instructor-led class. So this is within the learning universe. And again, you have to sign up. You'll want to, here we're illustrating the calendar search for you. We recommend that you put NDC in the search bar. You see that's highlighted up towards the top of the screen. And then, of course, you can select the language. We do have classes in Spanish, in English, and in other languages. So select your language of choice, and you should find classes. I know many of you have been struggling maybe to get into some classes, but we've actually added a number of classes, and we've made them all larger. So today, I would be very surprised if anyone had any difficulty finding a class or even being able to enroll in a class. If you did have problems, please let us know, because at this point in time, we don't anticipate anyone having any difficulties with that. All right, and I think that wraps it up for our presentations. And with that, let's go ahead and move into our Q&A session. So Adriana and Christine, can you help us get us started with those questions?
We've got lots of great questions coming in. I'll start with the first one. I received an email about mass activation of NDC. What does this mean?
Yes, and that's a really good question, because I believe that a number of our travel sellers may have just been notified. So up until now, anyone could basically raise their hand and request an activation of NDC. And what we've just done is we've streamlined this process through mass activation, meaning that many of our travel sellers were recently granted access to all of our public access carriers, which includes American Airlines. So those of you, if you now go into Selco and you access all fares and you do a search for content, you may very well see the AA's content with the purple flag being returned to you. We still, of course, continue to support. Now, this mass activation was not applied to everyone. And if you don't see any AA content with the NDC flag, by all means, please contact your account manager and let us know if you'd like to activate NDC. Note that you can go into ASH and the flow to request activation otherwise is still there.
Okay. Where can I find NDC sourced offers?
So again, once you've been activated for NDC and you shop in Selco All Fares in the graphical UI, you should see NDC offers returned by the public access carriers that are launched in the US market.
Where can we find the list of airlines that have started to distribute NDC content through Amadeus?
So in ASH, we were just looking at a slide that at that entry point, in essence, there is a site where you can go look at those carriers that are live. And you've got a listing of all of the content by country. So you'll be able to reference that document to see the airlines available by country.
Okay. Not all carriers are public access carriers, and some are prime access content carriers. What does this mean?
So in that same area, what you'll notice is that carriers such as American, United, Avianca, they're all public access carriers, meaning that when you do a search, you'll automatically see content that they would offer for that OND, provided they're making NDC content available. There are a number of other carriers, such as Iberia, Singapore, two that are launched and live in the US, for instance, where a bilateral agreement is required between the travel seller and the airline. In ASH, you'll find the instructions, what's needed for you to contact that carrier. In other words, the steps for you to get access to those prime carrier content.
Does Amadeus Travel Platform support continuous pricing, as some airlines claim that this is revolutionizing how they are distributing their content?
Yes, and this is a really great question because Amadeus does support continuous pricing. This is part of the revolutionary new ways that airlines are able to present offers through NDC.
We only have 30 minutes to book and issue an NDC flight. What if the passenger takes more than 30 minutes to decide?
Yes, so the good thing is that should that 30-minute window expire, you can relaunch a search and the clock will restart.
Okay, but I heard in that question something, you have 30 minutes to book. You do not have to issue until you hit the payment time limit or ticketing time limit, which is going to be much longer. So you still have the same flow. The only difference is that when you do initial search, the response from NDC has a time limit. For some airlines, it's 20 minutes, sometimes it's 30 minutes. Once you book that goes away because it's no longer an offer, it's now an order. And now you can hold that as a booking, not ask for issue and pay until you can confirm with the client. And the timeline you have is shown right there with the booking. I showed that section where it said what the time limit was for issue and pay.
Okay.
If that helps. Okay, good.
I have a question for Rachel. Today, NDC pricing is significantly lower than EDIFACT pricing. Can we expect this channel preferencing to continue?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I think to answer that, you can definitely think of, the content offering slide that I shared earlier, that we have 3 categories: standard, value, and enhanced. And you can continue to believe that more of our value fares and enhanced content will continue to be available, made available in modern retailing only in NDC. And what those value fares are is they do price cheaper than the regular standalone main cabin fare. So I think it is very safe to say that you will continue to see cheaper fares that's available on modern retailing, shopping via NDC, as compared to EdFact channels.
Great, thank you.
So Adriana, let me take one that I see here. You know, I've seen quite a few questions actually where the question is, can we shift back to cryptic mode, right? Can we get away from this graphical and go back to cryptic? And I hope we've made it very clear that the technology that is allowing us to become innovative and to modernize retailing doesn't retrofit back into the cryptic piping that we have. So that's just not going to be possible. I know there were a number of questions around that. Another question here is around, I believe, markups. So I think many customers may in the past have had rates that allowed them to mark up. Also, I think referred to sometimes as bulk rates or net rates. Today, the NDC schema does not support the concept of markup. And what that means is, in talking with our airline partners, we understand that this is an opportunity for our travel sellers to talk to the carriers that they are closely working with and to discuss what the ramifications are from a commercial perspective. So it becomes a commercial discussion, not a technology discussion in this case. So I see that there's a question about Air Canada. Air Canada is a major carrier for us in the Americas, and we are working very closely with them. So stay tuned there. And we do support TIDS agencies, which is a flavor of IATA certification. We know that there are a number of agencies that have that type of accreditation, and it is supported. We will be able to support their accessing in terms of booking content, with the understanding that more than likely afterwards, those bookings are being serviced or fulfilled by someone who is IATA accredited. So I see another question here on commission. So today, when you're thinking about your commission, I think it's important to note that the carriers have told us that they continue to pay commission on bookings that are realized through NDC. We are in the process of working to better support your ability to see that commission through Selling Platform Connect. So it's through our UI. But in the interim, you ought to be able to claim it still through ARC with the carrier. So it's still being paid out. We are making some enhancements to automate your ability to see it though. And we understand that in some cases, if you enter the information in your FM line, it is, from what we understand, getting passed on to your mid-back office. This, I understand, will help with reconciliation of the commission with the carrier.
And I think, Caroline, it's important to emphasize NDC allows commission. You as an agency can receive your commission. The process that Caroline touched upon is making it a bit more smoother and clearer for you as the product evolution continues to take place. So, but be rest assured, if you're eligible for a commission, the NDC process allows you to get it.
Thank you, Kamal. And thanks for joining us.
Hey, Caroline, can I jump in? I saw a question here. It's a follow-up question to what I answered a little earlier.
Yes, by all means, Rachel, of course.
Great. So someone is asking, so I think earlier there's a question around, will you guys continue to see, lower fares in NDC as compared to EdFact, right? And I said, yes, you should continue to expect to see, our value content to be in our NDC enabled channels. And so there's a follow-up question that says, if AA Direct NDC will have special offers that are not available via Amadeus NDC, then doesn't Doesn't that mean that an agency should evaluate NDC Direct other than cost to manage the connectivity? So one clarifying answer here is that the value content, regardless of how you connect NDC with American, it will be the same. Whether you come direct with us or go with Amadeus NDCX, that same piece of content that we offer via NDC, you will not see the price difference. So I just wanted to make sure that the point is clear for you all as I was answering the previous question.
Thank you,
earlier.
Rachel. Thank you for Rachel for that, because it's a very important clarification, and there is a lot of confusion around the NDC content looking different. That is not the case. The NDC content that you get from any channel will be exactly the same, and Amadeus is committed to providing you with all the NDC content that American is making it available to you as a travel agent, to your travelers in this process.
Yep.
Thank you both for that. Another question that I've seen here is around the number of passengers that can be serviced in an NDC order, and that is still 9 passengers, just as we do today. What else do we have here?
There's a question around the mix of airlines and stuff. So today, an NDC offer that comes from the airline is represented to you in its entirety. We are working very closely with American to activate multiple airline or interline offers, where American would produce the interline offer and we would be able to make it available to you. That should be shortly coming in the early third quarter. So once that function is available, you will see multi-airlines in this process, American operated and another airline operated offer, but it depends on the offer generated by American, and that's provided back to you in this process. So hopefully the question that was asked gives you the answer in what you were looking for.
Yes, thank you for that. And I think it goes, again, if we can stress the importance of the wealth of information that is available for you in ASH. I see people asking for really granular information in the Q&A session, in the Q&A part. And again, you'd be astonished at the amount of detail that you will find that will help clarify many of the questions that we're seeing here today. There's no question that we continue to be working with other partners in the ecosystem. I see some questions here around, how it's supporting maybe customers that have that are working with mid-back office providers. So we know that the trams and all of the major mid-back office providers in North America are ready. They are NDC ready. We know as well, and maybe Jay, you'll want to step in and talk a little bit about Concur's readiness. We know that they are not just yet quite as ready.
Yep. So I talked about earlier Amadeus readiness, that we also have to think about the different third parties that you all rely on being able to support NDC, as well as your own internal processes and workflows. And I've seen a number of questions about trams, for example, and according to Trace Technology, which owns trams, they say that they are NDC ready, but it's best that you check with them specifically on whether there are any use cases they don't yet support that you rely on as part of your solution from trams. For Concur, Concur today only supports NDC via Travel Fusion, which then is a passive segment, and servicing happens then I guess on airline sites directly. Concur has communicated that they're in the middle of a big launch. And again, this is all stuff they've said in the press. I'm not giving any secrets away. We expect at the end of this year, that's when Concur has signaled that they think they'd be able to source NDC content from Amadeus in the Concur booking tool. For Concur Complete, if that's a mid-office tool, I think, again, it's a good question for your account manager with either Cornerstone IQCX or Concur Complete or Agency Technology, whomever you may be using, about their readiness for NDC and any of the automation processes you may be relying on from those platforms. Like I said, the agency assessment, it's really important to understand which third parties you rely on for anything around airline booking, servicing, et cetera. Understand where they are with readiness. And then, as many people have quite rightly asked, is to think about what does agent education and training look like? How do you put that together? What resources do you need? Because as has been called out in some of the questions, each airline now has the ability to do specific things within the NDC environment that may be different from airline to airline. You've heard a lot of detail from American, but if you talk to another airline, they might be doing some things on a different time frame or in a different way than American is. So that's another good thing to consider about your own NDC readiness as agent education and training.
Thanks a lot, Jay. You know, one other thought. I know there's some questions also about private fares, and I'm really sorry, but we're going to run out of time here. We're not going to have time to complete all go through all of these questions. But some of you may have private fares with American Airlines. It's our understanding that in working with your account manager, there's a smart sheet that they would provide for you should we need AA to load private fares. So make a note of that if you don't mind. And I think you know, we are past the hour. I know we want to be respectful of your time, but having said that, this was our first, and we certainly hope that we'll get to do this again with you very soon. And hopefully you'll join us. So with that, I know that we will be popping up a brief survey on your screen as our webinar comes to an end. Please note that your feedback is very important to us, and we hope that you'll take just a few minutes to respond. This will help us improve the experience and the sessions that we'll be planning to have in the future. And with that, we'll wrap it up. A big thank you to our panelists today, to the team for making this happen. And thank you all for taking the time out of your day to join us. We hope you enjoy the rest of your day. And with that, thank you very much.